The elevator doors refuse to close. Not once, not twice, but over and over again. Inside, a young woman presses every button on the panel. 7, 10, 14, 21. Her fingers frantic, almost mechanical. She steps out. She steps back in. She leans into the hallway, as if someone is standing just beyond the camera's view. She waves her arms in strange, deliberate patterns. And then, she's gone. 14 days later, her body is found inside a water tank on the roof of a downtown Los Angeles hotel. The question that still haunts America: what happened to Elisa Lam? And who, or what, was she reacting to in that elevator? January 2013. Los Angeles is warm by winter standards. Bright skies over a city that never really sleeps. Elisa Lam, a 21-year-old student from Vancouver, checks into the infamous Cecil Hotel. She's traveling alone. It's part of a West Coast trip. San Diego, Santa Cruz, Los Angeles. She calls home every day. Her parents expect to hear from her on January 31st. They don't. At first, it seems small. A missed call. A delayed message. But when days pass with nothing, no texts, no social media updates, no bank activity, panic sets in. The Los Angeles Police Department begins searching the hotel. They comb hallways. They check fire escapes. They bring in canine units. The dogs track her scent, and then suddenly lose it near a window that leads to a fire escape. Did she leave the building? Did someone help her leave? Or did something happen inside those walls? At that point, no one knows the hotel is already sitting on a dark legacy. The Cecil isn't just another downtown building. Opened in the 1920s, it once promised glamour, but over decades, it became associated with crime, overdoses, suicides. Death, in many forms, had passed through its rooms. Was Elisa aware of that history, or did the building swallow her into it? Security footage becomes the turning point, but what it shows only deepens the mystery. 2 weeks after Elisa vanishes, police release a surveillance clip to the public. The footage spreads across America like wildfire. Inside the elevator, Elisa steps in. She presses multiple buttons. None of them respond. She peeks into the hallway, tense, alert, almost fearful. She steps backward against the wall as if hiding from someone unseen. Then her hands move, slow, deliberate gestures in the air. Not random, almost like she's communicating. Or warding something off. The elevator doors remain open the entire time. Why? Was someone holding them? Was the door malfunctioning? Was she alone? After nearly 3 minutes, she walks out of frame. The elevator finally closes. That is the last confirmed sighting of Elisa Lam alive. And the internet explodes. Guests at the Cecil begin complaining. Low water pressure, strange taste, dark discoloration. Maintenance worker Santiago Lopez climbs to the rooftop on February 19 to check the tanks. He opens one. Inside, floating face up in the water, is Elisa Lam. Her body had been there for days. The horror spreads fast. Guests had been drinking that water, showering in it. But the bigger question: how did she get into a locked water tank on a roof with restricted access? No alarms had gone off. The tanks were tall, nearly 8 feet. Heavy lids. No easy ladder access. Was she strong enough to lift the lid herself? Did someone close it after her? Why was she found naked, her clothes floating separately in the tank? The autopsy would answer some questions, but not the ones people wanted answered most. The coroner rules the death an accidental drowning. No evidence of physical trauma. No signs of assault. Toxicology shows prescription medications, some at lower than prescribed levels. Elisa had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Investigators suggest a manic episode may explain the erratic elevator behavior. Possibly hallucinations. In that state, could she have climbed the fire escape to the roof? Could she have entered the tank alone? Authorities say yes, but the public isn't convinced. Within days, millions have watched the elevator footage. YouTube analysts slow it down frame by frame. Reddit threads dissect every hand movement. Conspiracy videos rack up millions of views. Some claim she was being chased. Others insist the hotel's dark history is relevant. A few believe something supernatural was at play. One theory even connects her to a tuberculosis outbreak because of a lab test name that resembled her last name. A coincidence that fueled online speculation. The case becomes bigger than evidence. It becomes myth. But myths don't always align with facts. Here's what investigators piece together. The roof could be accessed via the fire escape, not just alarm doors. The water tank lids were heavy, but not impossible to lift. The elevator's delayed door closing may have been due to a door hold button being pressed. Those details explain mechanics. They don't explain motive. Why would she climb into a water tank? Was she hiding? Was she confused? Did she believe something was after her? And perhaps the most disturbing possibility, was she simply alone in a mental health crisis, in a city that didn't notice until it was too late? Years later, the elevator clip remains one of the most viewed mysterious videos in internet history. It inspired documentaries, podcasts, endless debate. In 2021, crime scene The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel revisited the case, examining not just the mystery, but the internet frenzy that followed. It raised another uncomfortable question. Did online speculation distort reality? Or were there still unanswered details buried beneath? Official conclusions. Why did the dogs lose her scent? Why did the elevator doors stay open? Why were her clothes removed? Why did it take so long to find her body in a searched building? Each answer offered by investigators feels clinical. But the footage feels emotional, human, frightened. That tension between official explanation and visual ambiguity is what keeps the case alive. Picture it again. The elevator, the fluorescent light, the silence in the hallway. Elisa presses the buttons. She steps out. She looks left, right, as if someone is there, as if something is there. Then she disappears into the corridor, into a building already stained with decades of tragedy. Was it a tragic accident fueled by untreated symptoms? Or a puzzle we will never fully solve? More than a decade later, America still rewinds that grainy black and white footage, searching for a shadow in the doorway, a reflection in the mirror, a sign that changes everything. But the screen shows only what it has always shown. A young woman alone in an elevator, and a mystery that refuses to close.